My former adoptive mother was also my stepmother. She and my father forced the adoption on me against my will when I was young because she couldn't have children biologically. My mom was dead and they felt like she deserved the official mother title and a place on my birth certificate. I never wanted it and begged them not to, but I was ignored. It's been 2 years between my mom passing and dad remarrying and the adoption. They even lied and said dad was sick to push the judge's hand because apparently with me saying no, they needed something that would make a judge think it would be in my best interest. So they pretended dad was worried something would get worse and the judge decided it was safer for me. I never forgave them. I went no contact 7 months ago when I turned 18. I asked my maternal grandparents to adult adopt me to erase the original adoption. My stepmother is English and ever since I knew her, she celebrated both UK Mother's Day and our Mother's Day. And then, around midnight last night, I made a Facebook post thanking my grandma for adopting me and being a great mom. I don't even celebrate the UK's Mother's Day, but Dad's parents reminded me about it and said I should post something, knowing she would see. They weren't thinking of announcing the adoption thing, but that's what I did. I woke up an hour ago and my former stepmom saw it, thanks to other family members being friends with both of us on Facebook. An aunt told me that they were really angry and said I was an idiot because they had no idea I was no longer legally their kid. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Petty, sure, but you didn't want to be adopted by your stepmother and immediately went no contact when you turned 18, so that's a pretty massive indicator of the type of people they were. But really, what did they expect to happen? Forcing a bond onto a child, and against the child's wishes. I'd understand perhaps if your dad was truly ill and worried something might happen, but even then, was she really the best and only option? Sounds like she's not. Wait, the adoption happened as soon as they got married? The timeline is much too short. OP's dad decided his new wife was a good match for him, then rushed the marriage and adoption far too quickly without considering OP. Yikes. So this was 100% about her and how much ego stroking she would get from it versus actually having contributed meaningfully to your upbringing. Yeah, why should you protect their feelings? They didn't do anything to protect yours. I think you should check in with your grandparents though. If your post has caused issues for them, you need to support them. Her maternal grandparents adopted OP. Her paternal grandparents are the crap stirrers. I read it as OP made a Facebook post knowing that stepmom would see it. Why else would OP do it on the UK's Mother's Day when based on everything here? OP and maternal grandparents are not from the UK. I agree that the father and stepmom are idiots for what they pulled, but OP is also a bit of one as well when it easily could have waited for their own Mother's Day or just any other random day. I disagree, OP's not the idiot. OP's dad put his new wife's feelings over his son's. At 18, OP made a passive-aggressive post on Facebook. Oh well, stepmom shouldn't have forcefully adopted him. She's hurt? Oh okay, because OP wasn't hurt for the last 11 years. Honestly, the dark hooded version of me wishes to remind you that the words "finally a complete family" with a picture of you and your grandparents or maternal family might be a good Facebook post for US Mother's Day. Your dad and his wife sound manipulative. Not saying you should, just saying I'd personally tell everyone on my social media the full story, and if anyone tried to justify that horrible behaviour, remove and block them. My male 31 fiancé, female 32, and I have been together for 7 years. We got engaged last December. When we were still getting to know each other, she told me she was infertile. At the time, she didn't give me a lot of info about it because we'd only been dating for 5 or 6 months. She told me like she felt I needed to know in case it was a deal breaker for me. I assured her it was fine and that we didn't have to worry about that for now, and that if we were to want kids, there were different methods. As time went on though, she confessed to me that the reason why she couldn't have babies was that she had an eating disorder that messed with her reproductive system. I made sure that she knew how much I loved her because she was ashamed of it, although it wasn't her fault, she was in therapy for this. The doctors basically told her that it'd be impossible for her to get pregnant. We talked about our future and we decided to adopt kids when we were ready to be parents. We now decided that we were ready for marriage and would start trying to adopt a kid. Also, at some point in our relationship, we decided not to use protection anymore and she wasn't on birth control. So, obviously, we were confident that she couldn't get pregnant because that's what doctors have said. Recently, she's been feeling sick. It's not unusual though, as she has celiac disease, and sometimes food gets contaminated. We're very careful with it, but sometimes it still happens. She was sick for a couple of days until she decided to go to the hospital. When she returned, she told me she was fine, nothing seemed weird. We live near the beach, so yesterday she told me that she wanted to have a picnic there. She told me that she'd get everything done. So a while before the sun sets, we walked down to the beach. She'd prepared some sandwiches that we ate. We also ate some fruit and drank juice, etc. At some point, she tells me she has a surprise for me and to close my eyes. I do, and she puts a piece of paper in my hand and tells me to open them again. It's an ultrasound. Not gonna lie, my first thought was, what is this? Then I figured it out. She was expecting me to say something, so I asked her whose baby it is. She told me it was ours. This is where I might be the idiot. I laughed and said, "No, really, whose baby is it?" She insisted it was ours, and I told her, "You stole this from Google, didn't you?" Because I thought she was trying to prank me. She then said this wasn't a prank, but I'd already messed up her good humor. She got angry and started to walk back home. I followed her and asked if it was true. She said yes. I got very happy and hugged her, which made her slightly less angry. We picked up our stuff and got back home. She told me that the doctors couldn't explain her pregnancy either. She has to do some tests, so we still haven't told anyone, but she wanted me to know. I feel very sad and like an idiot because she was just too excited and had planned a surprise for me, but I messed up. And that's why people need to learn that being infertile isn't the same as being sterile. In medicine, sterile and infertile are used differently from each other, but in everyday life they are literally synonyms for each other. I think this is a reasonable response to being told you're going to be a father by someone that told you they were infertile. Being shocked and in disbelief is a thing. Agree. I get she was hoping for a different initial reaction, but you were genuinely shocked and confused. You probably should have gotten the hint by the second time you asked, but sometimes it takes our brains a second to comprehend such news. Either way, as soon as you realized it was real, you shared her excitement. Of course, she can be disappointed it took you a bit longer to get, but that doesn't make you an idiot. P.S. An eating disorder won't make you infertile forever. Can't believe she was ever told that. Once the weight is restored and she's back to healthy habits, she'd be good to go if there wasn't a more in-depth reason for the infertility she claimed. Either she didn't hear that part or had poor counselling from her doctor. OP, I can see why you thought it was a joke. The doctors can't even explain it. Congratulations, by the way. Wishing you both and Bub all the best. My boyfriend of a year owns his place and has a cat, Libby. She's 2 years old and has always gone outside. He's stopping that as he said she injured her paw quite badly and has scratches on her after another cat attacked her. He said a few of his neighbours have become concerned recently as their cats have also become injured. He said that he gets it's a change for Libby as she's been meowing at the door to be let out, but that it's for her health and safety. And he said he's planning on building some outside open-air cage things so she's still outside but concealed in it. I was there the other night and Libby was meowing at the back door. I said it wouldn't hurt to let her out as she was very loud. He says he just ignores her for 10 minutes and she's fine and told me not to let her out. She seemed really insistent, so I let her out. The boyfriend was none the wiser, but after a while he noticed how quiet his house was and started to look for Libby as she normally cuddles him after not being let out. He started freaking out when he couldn't find her, and I told him I let her out. He got really angry and asked, "Why the heck would you do that when I told you I didn't want my cat outside?" He started saying I was rude, insensitive and horrible for what I did. Libby came back after like an hour. She was fine. My boyfriend kicked me out and has been cold to me since. He says he doesn't trust me in his house or near his cat anymore. She's a really sweet girl and I love her, and I don't think I did anything wrong. I think he's just being paranoid because she got hurt once. I'm trying to make him see my point of view that he's being too overprotective, and he says I'm an idiot and that he needs some space from me. Yeah. You've demonstrated that you can't be trusted in his house or near his cat. You are the idiot. Cats that go outside have a shorter lifespan and risk getting attacked by other animals, hit by cars, and risk getting diseases and ticks. Not your cat, home, or vet bills to pay if the cat had gotten injured. I'd break up with you. Not even that. Owls, eagles, coyotes, foxes, and many others will attack cats, and cats, being an invasive species, have no instincts regarding those predators to help them survive such attacks. Thus, that adorable stripy youngster you raised to be your chest warmer in the morning might never come home after being snagged by a coyote. Keep your fur kids at home and get them chipped no matter what. Absolutely. My mom would let my kid out intentionally against my wishes when I stayed with her a summer between college semesters. I assume it's a control thing with people like this and a bit of lack of care for animals. OP was directly told no. She didn't like that and was annoyed with the meowing, so she had to show off how big her pee-pee is, and is playing the, well, I knew she'd be fine, and she was fine, and she used to do it, so what card after she's been called out. I hope you enjoy being single, OP. I, female 35, have a daughter, Jessica, teen, and 2 years ago I married Joe, male 47, who has a daughter, Bella, same age. Joe and Jessica have always gotten along well, and I presume Jessica and Bella would also bond as they're the same age and Jessica has always wanted a sister, and I thought they did get along. At home they were always nice to each other, shared stuff and seemed to have fun. Recently I got a call from their school stating that Bella was crying in the office. Before I could ask her why, they told me that Jessica was bullying her for being ugly and unfashionable. Bella does have a bit of an alternative style, but I think it's creative and unique and not an excuse to bully her. I was absolutely horrified at this, as when I was a child I was also bullied for things like that, and I've always raised Jessica to be kind and empathetic. I picked Bella up from school early and took her out for ice cream and let her talk if she wanted to. She confessed she didn't say anything because she wanted Jessica to like her, and she didn't want to cause any problems as since her mom died, she hasn't seen her dad so happy. I then continued to tell her I wouldn't tell Jessica that she told me, but that the school did to possibly mend their relationship, and that she can always talk to me whenever, as although I will never replace her mom, I want to be there for her no matter what. When Jessica came home, I told her that her behaviour was extremely unkind, and I asked her why she did it. She then continued to say that she was right, and that Bella dresses like a freak and looks like a hideous rat, and that her friends were teasing her for having to live with her. I then told her that I would be taking away her phone for a week and that she has to apologise to Bella. She then said some more nasty things about Bella which made me snap. I told her I would take away all her makeup other than her skincare prescribed by her dermatologist and most of her new clothes that I bought her last week. She then started crying, which made me feel bad, but I didn't relent. Her main interests are makeup and fashion, so I've decided to take them away since she's bullying her stepsister for a related thing. I thought it would be appropriate until she learns to show kindness to others. I've offered to set up therapy or try to discuss it, but she screams I'm ruining her life every time I'm near her. However, Bella appreciates my effort, and before anyone asks why Joe isn't involved, he goes on a lot of business trips, so he's currently away, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. So, am I the idiot for removing my insecure daughter's makeup and clothing? Absolutely not the idiot. You're a wonderful stepmother and Bella is lucky to have you. I'm sure your support means a lot to her. Jessica needs to learn a lesson, and that's a good way of doing so. Also, try to talk to Jessica and slowly dismantle these toxic, superficial ideas she has. It might help the issue because I doubt Bella is the only girl she's bullying. You are the idiot, OP. Do I think Jessica needs consequences? Yes. Will taking away clothes and makeup make her see the error of her ways? Probably not. There is a much deeper issue here, and I think the best course forward is therapy for both girls and you, because her reaction here seems extreme. Also, taking away prescribed skincare. I would let her keep the dermatologist's skincare stuff. I don't really view trying to treat acne in the same vein as fancy clothes. Does she really have bad acne and usually cover up scars or active acne with cover-up? If her scarring and skin is really bad, it could be too cruel to take that away. I mean, what she did is awful, but the cover-up foundation would be an exception if she really needs it. OP, did you just leave it up to chance to see if the girls would get along? Married quickly and moved in together without much preparation? Jessica sounds like she needs some help. It's hard to measure up to the perfect sweet stepdaughter, and she's probably struggling with having bad acne, and your attention is diverted to two other people, and she's coming up a distant third. So she has to play nice to Bella to gain your approval and attention? You are the idiot, and your husband needs to be home more often so he can parent his daughter and you can repair your relationship with your own child. I am a very good driver. I take safety as my #1 priority and do my best to protect myself and my friends when I'm behind the wheel. I've had people say I'm strict when it comes to me driving, but I just think it's better to be that way. I've only been in one accident, and it was because some chick rear-ended me while she was texting. My friend is on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. She's such a bad driver I don't feel comfortable getting in a car with her behind the wheel. She breaks the rules, is incredibly aggressive, and goes 20 over. She's just awful. She had been in 3 accidents even though she's only had her license for about 6 years, all of which were her fault due to distracted driving. Most recently, she got into an accident when she ran into someone else because she was texting while driving. Her car is now in the shop, so I'm driving her places. She recently developed a habit of being a backseat driver, and she gives the worst advice. She told me to slam on the gas to make a yellow light, told me to get over into another lane seconds before someone comes speeding up on that side, and constantly advised me to go way faster than the flow of traffic, and it's damn annoying. Yesterday I was taking her to class and she made us late. She tried to tell me to just run stop signs and red lights to make it on time, and I told her multiple times I wouldn't. She said we would have already been there if she'd been behind the wheel. I told her there was no guarantee we'd have made it there alive, given her track record. I said that she'd caused multiple accidents and that she might think twice before telling me how to drive. She was very upset by this, and we argued the rest of the drive. She said I was such an idiot for no reason and that she would be returning to her place. Am I the idiot? Info, was she the one who rear-ended you while texting? Seriously though, she's learned absolutely nothing from her experiences and will continue to be a danger to herself and others. So maybe a reality check from someone she cares about will do her some good. You are not the idiot, but you can always ask her, can you remind me again why we're in this situation, me being the driver and you being the passenger? Or just stop giving her rides. When I'm doing a favour for someone and they start complaining about how I'm doing that favour, the favour ends. OP, you ought not to continue chauffeuring her. She seems likely to continue hectoring you until your car is in the shop too. There may be a 2-for-1 offer of which she plans to take advantage. You've been doing her many favours by driving her to and fro, and she's responded with abuse and invective. She's not entitled to your assistance. Friends don't treat each other this way. Why are you putting up with this? She's not a good friend to you. She's not friendship material. You're putting way more effort in than you're getting out. Stop driving her.